I have to tell you about our first meeting. Was Ray come in, he was transferring in, and then he said he was Army, and I said to him, I'm sorry to hear that. And then after that, we sort of started to chat, and before I know it, right?
Yeah.
So it's great that...
This is the way it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, not everybody is that way.
No, that's right.
Like
That's
any
right.
walk of life.
That's right.
But you know, here in the Legion, you're going to find more like that. And if somebody hollers at you something that kind of a little off, don't ever take offense to it. Just come back with something better.
Come back.
Okay, my name is Ray Northrop. I originally born in New Brunswick, on a farm, and I worked at just about every job there was down there until I joined the military. I joined the military in Fredericton, New Brunswick. I was stationed at Camp Utopia, New Brunswick. We were taking, this is when I was with the artillery. We had the 25-pounder guns and the mortars. But we were, in December '55, we were shipped to Germany. Troop train came in to the wilds down there at that time there, but we were trained to Quebec City from there. Boarded the ship and away we went to Holland. So I 2 years over there, and I had enough artillery to do me at the time, so when I came back to Canada, I transferred to another outfit, REME. And in the REME, I was heavy equipment and tank mechanic. And prior to all that there, I forgot to say that I was Armored Corps militia in New Brunswick before I joined the regular army. So I've had a good round little bit of every kind of service there was. And that's about all I got, I guess.
Oh, well, that's great, Ray. That's great. So my name is Bill Neville. With my accent, you can hear, I'm originally from Northern Ireland. I was with the British Armed Forces, with the British Navy. And then when I came to Canada, way back in the day, I'm not going to say how long ago that was, but it was a long time ago. And then I got involved with the Canadian Navy, became a reservist. And after I became a reservist, I worked with, the last group that I worked with was cadets. So Army, Air, and Sea cadets. So yeah, this is what I've done to present. Right now I'm the special events person for the Royal Canadian Legion Branch 67. Have been for a number of years. MC again for Remembrance Day. You might see me out there on Remembrance Day. Well, why is Remembrance Day important to me? Well, like Ray's parents, my father, my grandfather was World War I veteran Navy. My father was World War II Navy, and it was only just that I went into the Navy as well. So does it mean a lot to me? Yes, it does. And it means a lot to me for the education of the children today, right? To educate the children today of what exactly they need to have. Gentlemen like Ray, maybe not so much me, but I would say Ray, that has lots of combat experience. I'm a veteran, but I'm not a combat veteran. I was in the military, but I was never really when I was in, there was never any conflicts really on the go, right? So saying that, but I still feel it's very important to pass the word on to the children in the schools. This is why I help with Remembrance Day and everything else. Ray and myself go to the schools as well to pass that word on. Yeah, so we were just talking about when Ray was talking about 1956. In 1956, I was 3 years old.
Yeah.
And like, just think about like just boggles my mind, right? 1956.
Well,
And I was 3 years old, and here you are, right?
I was the ripe old age of 19.
Right old age of 19
Yeah,
in
ripe
1956.
old age
Wow.
of 19.
Wow.
And when we first went to Germany, of course, 10 years after the war, they couldn't rebuild anything where people were killed in the ruins. They had to wait for the diseases and stuff like that. So they didn't start rebuilding. So here's whole city blocks and stuff like that in the cities I've seen all destroyed. Hamburg, mile after mile after mile, Hamburg.
Wow.
The Reeperbahn area there was completely destroyed.
Wow.
And it was really, really an eye-opener to see all that destruction. A lot of my career, like in the military there, I worked tanks and heavy equipment. That was my trade. And I wound up, like I said, both in Germany under NATO and in the Gaza Strip at Camp Rafah was our main camp. And I ran the heavy equipment section in Camp Rafah. So basically that's about it. I've served pretty well all over Canada. The only place I haven't really served is Saskatchewan. But aside from that there, it was a good life. I had a good life. Now I'm living in Lindsay here, so I joined the Legion here. I've transferred over to it and work with the people here. And Remembrance Day to me is a very, very special day. I have 2 kids that served of my own. I don't have either one of them today. I've lost them both. That's why this hat here, my daughter was also a peacekeeper. My father, my grandfather, many uncles all fought in World War I and World War II. So it's nice that they're remembered every year.
But I still feel it's very important to pass the word on to the children in the schools. This is why I help with Remembrance Day and everything else. Ryan and myself go to the schools as well to pass that word on. So it's really important for me anyway, for that, as well as I'm proud to be Canadian. I'm proud that that there's a lot of Canadians here, especially ex-servicemen. When we get together, there's always a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We do the banter back and forward from Army, Navy, Air Force, but it's always in good fun.
It's all fun.
That's right.
Yeah.
So Remembrance Day to me means all of that camaraderie as well.
This is the thing, the camaraderie part of it is the Legion.
Absolutely, absolutely. So makes my day when I come down and talk to Ray, and has way, way, way more experience than I do. But you know what? Some of the stories is really important, because when Ray's gone, and I've talked to other veterans, World War II veterans, World War, like Korean War veterans, and a lot of them have passed away that used to be members here. Them stories are gone, right? So that's important.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
it is.
Let me start, because he's got way more medals than I do. So I'll start by saying, yes, I only have like 2 medals. One of them is called a CD, and that's a Canadian decoration. And you get that, and we used to joke about it for many years. It was 12 years of undetected crime. So that was a joke that everybody always used to have, but it's 12 years of service and good conduct service. The other one that I have is the Queen's Diamond Jubilee medal, and I got that whenever I think it was 2012. It was a Diamond Jubilee medal, and I've had it ever since. So if you notice, like the medals on the right, or sorry, the left, is always over your heart. They're the medals that you get for service. The ones on your left are like Legion medals and what have you, are my right, your left. They're the ones that like Legion medals and everything else, right? You can see Ray has his Legion medal there. I don't have Legion medals, but this one happens to be a Navy League of Canada medal that I got many years ago, right? But I'll let Ray talk about his medals. Go ahead, Ray.
Well, you've already explained the 12 years of undetected crime.
Yeah.
This is a peacekeeping medal here. That's from the Gaza Strip. It was supposedly Egypt, but apparently it is a separate thing. It's between Egypt and Israel. The Gaza Strip sits right on we're about a half a mile from the Mediterranean. This here is a peacekeeping medal. All peacekeepers are awarded these here. This medal here we used to call the Cold War, but it's a NATO medal for serving under NATO. And when I went to Germany in '55, this was NATO. The Russians were gathering on the East German border, and that any time they figured that they were going to jump the border and come after us. So this is why you get these. They still give these out today. My grandson just went to Romania last fall. He came back with one of these same medals. So here's one of the personal experiences I had in the Middle East. And at one time there, we had to go out between the border between Egypt and Israel, and the two countries are at war. They're still at war, and there's the guns on the Israeli side, and there's the Egyptian ones, and all the pillboxes and the trenches and everything. And right between it was where the UN patrolled. And they had to keep the roads open, so they'd use road graders, bulldozers. One of the bulldozers broke down out there, and I had to take my crew out to fix it. And while we were working on that bulldozer, anybody that's seen the Desert Rat show, a TV show with the machine gun mounted up in the Jeep and everything, that's what we had two of them overlooking us while we were out there. And all of a sudden, while we're working, our machine gunner opens up. I hollered over, I said, "What are you shooting at?" He said, "Didn't you see them bullets landing down here by the bulldozer?" I said, "No, never seen a thing. We were busy working." Apparently, one side or the other, I don't know who, shot at us. Mm-hmm. And they let a burst out of that 50 caliber they had, and we heard no more. At the same time, on the same story there, I figure I'm a very lucky man. When we finished with the bulldozer, I drove it back to the camp. Nobody else in my crew knew how to operate a bulldozer, so I was the only one, so I drove it back to the camp about 2 miles. When I got back to the camp, the commanding officer of the camp came out and he said, "Can you operate that?" And I said, "I can move her. I'm not much of an operator, no, but I said I can move her." He said, "Would you mind knocking about 2 feet off that knoll over there, right inside the camp?" So I start pushing the sand down because the sand is shifting all the time. And while I'm doing this here, the Egyptian cook comes out of the camp and he's jumping up and down, he's hollering at me, and I don't know what he's hollering. So I idled the machine down, and he said, "Mines, mines." The Russian pillbox mines are about that big and look like a hat box or a flying saucer with a little bubble on the top where the firing pin is. So I just shut everything down, get off it, And I gave it a wide thing around it and looked. Here I'm rolling up one of these Russian pillbox machines right on the front of the blade. So that's how the engineers found their bulldozer when it was finished. With a landmine rolled up the blade. And I'm here today to talk about it. I figure I'm a lucky man.
Yes.
Very lucky. But that's my experience.
Very good.
I was a marine engineer, so we were at sea quite a bit. During them times, there wasn't really any conflict going on other than the Russians shadowing us up and down the Mediterranean Sea. So they went into, or we went into port, they went into port. We come out, they come out. So it was all kind of Cold War, kind of end of the Cold War kind of thing. Did I ever? What I brought back from all of that, I went in as a young man, and I come out as I would say, a little bit more seasoned and world traveled and completely looked at the world and what I was doing. And one of the reasons that whenever I come out, I decided that I was going to try Canada out. And I came to Canada, and the whole deal was come to Canada for a year and then go to Australia. Well, here I am, 50, nearly 45 to 50 years later, I'm still here. So
That's the one thing I brought back too with me, is the knowledge of Canada's one heck of a good country.
absolutely, I couldn't say that.
It's
I
one
couldn't say
wonderful
that.
country. Isn't it?
Absolutely right, 100%.
What I'll be doing up there on the parade, I'll be hobbling along with the rest of them, and I probably won't be the only fellow there with a cane or a walker.
No, you're right.
But you do what you can. Yeah. It's the getting there with the people and attending, and the ceremony for the remembrance. That's the important thing. And getting together afterwards back here.
Absolutely.
That is very important, camaraderie.
Okay, so on Remembrance Day, if people would like to come down to the Legion and participate in the parade starts just outside the Legion here, and we normally form up around about 9:45, and then we sort of get everything set up. So what happens is the police, the fire department, EMS, and some other service groups in the area, they all sort of get into order, and I have a sequence of order of who goes in what position. I'm the parade marshal, so what I normally do is we have everybody facing the Legion, we bring them all up to attention and march on the Canadian flag and the colour party, and as soon as they're in position, we turn everybody right and we march off down the street, York Street North, and then we turn right on to Kent Street, and we march right up Kent Street all the way to the Cenotaph, which is at the corner of Kent and Victoria Street. Whenever we get there, basically the service will start pretty close to whenever we get there. So everybody gets into position. All of the cadets are there as well, the Army cadets here in town. So the parade is not great big, but it's a nice sized parade. We have the Lindsay pipes and drums that are actually playing the marching tunes all the way up there, and we have one of their pipers that does the lament where the piper actually gets in. So then what happens is I start the service. We actually start the service with O Canada, obviously, right at the beginning, and then we move it into laying reefs. This year, because there's so many reefs that we lay, we only lay like 14 or 15 reefs, and then the rest of them, they're all pre-laid, because we're looking at over 118 reefs. And if you were to lay them out, which we've done in the past, the service is really, 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 really long. So that's what we decided to do, and a lot of people enjoy the fact that you know, the reef is already laid, it's being read out, and then we carry on. So we have a couple of things this year that's different that we haven't had before. We're having a young group from the Mariposa Elementary School choir that's actually coming out to sing a song for us this year, which is new. We have a young lady that's coming out that is a singer, and she's going to sing a song for us as well at the cenotaph, which is new. So we're trying to do things that are different and new and make the service, I guess better would be the right term, but you know, make it more interesting, more for people coming out to see a really nice, well put together service. So the Legion obviously is, I'm part and parcel of the Legion, so the Legion is who puts this on. So after the service, the police are there, like I said, are part of the parade, the fire department, EMS, and there's a whole bunch of different smaller groups like service groups. We march back after the service, all the way back to here, to the Legion, and then we dismiss right outside here. That normally is in and around, you know, the whole thing about Remembrance Day is the 11th hour on the 11th day of the 11th month. So that's the actual act of remembrance. After the service is all done, march back here, and then, you know what, like I say, Ray and myself and a lot of the veterans, we go downstairs, comradeship. This year, we're having a roast beef dinner right here in our Vimy room, right, for a small fee. The veterans are the Legion's guests, so the veterans will get a roast beef dinner, and you know, everybody's welcome to come back here and for to talk to the vets if they wish, and we'll be only too happy to talk to the vets, tell them about all of our artifacts here, which we're really happy with, and over the years we have cataloged all of this, and we've, you know, tried to make this as interesting as possible. This is obviously, this is an Air Force uniform. This is World War II. And you can see the different things. Did a little bit here about Juno Beach.
Yeah.
You know, you can see there the Scottish Regiment. You can see here, you know, the different things. The Brodie helmet from World War II. So
the guards, when I was with the guards, they used to wear that for the ceremonial uniform in Ottawa there at Parliament Hill.
yeah.
The ceremonial on the Busbies with the big bear hat.
Yeah. All right, so I'm just going to talk briefly about this picture. This picture was actually donated to the Legion. It was actually won at a raffle, and the couple was Howie Johnson. Was his son actually was in Afghanistan, and he donated this picture to the Legion because his son was in Afghanistan. The Legion has lots of stuff here. It has reference material about this particular stuff here gives you all of the veterans. People could come in here and do reference searches for their parents, grandparents, whatever. They may be in one of these books. This is what the Legion does. You can come to the Legion anytime. Where doors are mostly open. So come and see us here at the Legion. We have events happening all the time. We have darts, we have snooker, we have all kinds of things like that. Shuffleboard that you can come and play. The other thing is that we do is we have a Friday lunch. We can the lunch changes from Friday to Friday, the special, but you can always come to the Legion for a roast beef dinner. So in closing,
Making me hungry. Making me hungry.
go ahead, Ray.
Yes.
We're all done?
We're all done. Okay. Well, the only thing I can say about it is I'd like to see us all that we could here for the Legion service, because it's really heartwarming to see these services. Mm-hmm. And come on over and get a meal and stuff like that, warm yourself up and enjoy the food, and the camaraderie and the stories will carry on during the meals, I am sure.
Absolutely.
And thank you.